without further ado, I would like to invite Olaf, who will briefly tell us about this phase.
This is actually, to me, a very important part of what we're doing. So bringing the ecosystem together, inspiring people, this is kind of our nighttime activity. Daytime activity, as some of you might know, we work with government and civil society with digital solutions alongside their needs. And this is where things actually meet again, because some of the topics that we will discuss today will actually carry over to some of the activities we're doing during daytime. So I'm excited to listen in and to learn more. Thanks again for coming.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nadine.
My name is Nadine Rahman. I'm the CEO of the Digital Solutions Division of a company called IFM. What do? We produce sensors. So what kind of sensors are we producing? Anything where you have a physical good moving through a value company in a production process has some level of automation in it, that production process. The sensors are able to detect much and are able to detect errors, especially important, much earlier than any human eye can ever detect. We need to collaborate. Collaboration is key. Collaboration is key in general. So talking about being open to partnerships, working across borders. Also for IFM, for us is super important. The platform we are building will be an open platform. We want to invite partners into this platform. Be open to also new ideas and new kinds of business models as well. So with that, I'd like to thank you guys very much. I look forward to a very interactive session.
Allow me to invite our friends that will help us in this conversation. Let me ask you this as a question. Is there a way we can demystify Industry 4.0 for everyone to be on the same level of understanding? But how is this technology taking root? We might need to look at examples. Is there something like of this kind in Rwanda that we can look at as an example and say, I mean, when I walked in here, I went to the gents and there's a sensor. I don't need to use my fingers to flash. And I thought maybe this is the technology we're talking about.
Well, I'm guessing part of it, but that's most likely just one sensor, right? And if we all understood the great presentation that Nadine shared with us, it's not about just one sensor. It's about a multitude of them that are actually interconnected, right? That are part of a network, right? They're sharing, this sensor has collected this amount of data, right? And this other sensor has this amount of data done. So they start interconnecting, creating a network, and before you know it, you are able to create systems that are smarter than just a motion sensor, like So in terms of how we demystify that, I think it will happen naturally, just like human beings have always been able to adapt to everything. So I'm guessing that once this becomes common knowledge, or we understand the urgency of what and the advantages of what this kind of technology brings on the table, then we will figure out a way to retool ourselves.
Thank you. Victoria, you've been quiet and perhaps anticipating. At your company, Hepta Analytics, are you excited about Industry 4.0? What's exciting you? Or you're not as excited as other people seem to be excited about Industry 4.0? As Nadine's alternative on how she looks at Industry 4.0, especially where he thinks people first, not technology first.
What Nadine was explaining here a few minutes ago, I could relate, even though it's on the manufacturing side. Having the ability to have that traceability and transparency of the workflow with the senior management being able to even supervise junior engineers without necessarily being at the workplace is an amazing thing that I would say part of the part of the services that my company offers really ensure that we can see the end-to-end flow of information in the infrastructure of companies that we see or that we give the service of infrastructure and cloud computing. So Industry 4.0 is, I would say, is an exciting thing, and it should not only end at the excitement part, but it should actually be brought into reality or emphasized to be used in this region, because not many companies are already embracing this technology. It can be happening in the world out there, but when you look at what is happening in this side, it's not quite a lot on that front.
First question is actually coming to you. Your work with IMF, you seem to contradict the whole theory of Industry 4.0 from what I have looked at. And this meeting in particular was to introduce us to Industry 4.0. What your company is doing and the original concept when you say revolution, evolution. Take me to the background of what Industry 4.0 in itself is before the alternatives.
So Industry 4.0 is actually a concept that was born in Germany in 2012. And it was actually born by the small, mid-sized company community in Germany, believe it or not. And the initial idea behind is really, or the pressing need rather, behind this initiative is really making production processes, manufacturing more efficient and reducing wastage. And getting rid of this, what I explained to you guys, this black box of the production floor. Because, management would not know what is going on in the shop floor. So on the manufacturing business side, this is a key driver to connect the two worlds together. To break down these Chinese walls, to get the two worlds speaking with each other. For us, IFM, actually the big driver was, I was talking about the amount of data a sensor produces. Does anyone know how much data is actually used of that sensor to control a production process? Less than 5% is currently being used of a data or amount of data that a sensor produces. And for us, IFM, motivation was simple. It was really a statement. There must be a way that we get more data out of that sensor.
Let me ask Victoria, what challenges do businesses and their supply chains need to overcome to take advantage of Industry 4.0 and the data? Also, we'll talk about what opportunities come with it.
So the challenges that the manufacturers face with inception or the introduction of Industry 4.0 is, first of all, I will talk about the legacy systems that are already in place. You'll find that most companies have very old and traditional systems that are not big data ready. So for these manufacturers to take care of that, they need technologists who will come and install the correct systems that will be 4.0 ready, so that they can have the ability to take in all this data that is coming in from all these interconnected devices, be able to analyze that. So that being a challenge comes as an opportunity too, because look, it's a challenge to have old and traditional systems, but it's providing a job for those technologists, the data scientists. The machine learning that will be put into place will not just happen overnight. Someone has to work on that algorithm to take all these interconnectedness she talked over a very amazing concept of interconnecting all the devices in this building. Just imagine how that should happen. So it's a challenge and it's an opportunity at the same place. And not only the job opportunities coming with this, but also the entire perception of how people think.
Who should be selling this technology? My small company does not even think they need the technology, or they've not heard about it. Who should be creating this awareness about available technologies and how they are solving problems?
I think Nadine said one thing about doing it small, right? So first is to really identify whether your small business or your medium-sized business or your big business actually needs it. And if your business needs it, where does it need it, right? So if you have, it's not going to be just for the sake of implementing this, because at the end of the day, this technology does not come cheap either, right? So you have to actually balance it, right? Utilize it where it's really needed and where it's going to bring you the most profitability in terms of increasing your way of doing your business.
So any business can always do better. Maybe let me use my boss's favorite quote, how he runs his company. It's a bit of our life motto, and that is, what must happen so that IFM is basically pushed out of the market? So we look at those potential dangers to our business, and then we go and do them ourselves to make sure we constantly remain ahead of the curve a little bit, and make sure we always are ready for the future and can also exist another 50 years, which is our plan, and beyond that. So that's why if you get this latency, you get the feared Nokia effect. If you become too lenient, too lazy, this will happen. So it's not only about growth, it's not only about making more profit, but it's about being relevant to your market. And your market is changing, your customer demands will be changing, whether it's consumer, whether it's B2B, it doesn't matter. The change doesn't stop. So if you want to subsist in the long term, you automatically need to stay innovative.
So in my company we have cybersecurity experts, and these are people who have the skills to tell whether your systems have loopholes or they can be penetrated. So if we run some quick tests and see some loopholes on your systems, then we can propose something and decide to work together to help you secure your systems such that they cannot be easily accessed from anywhere. And part of these simple tasks I'm talking about, penetration testing, could be done while sipping a cup of coffee in our office, and we plan, hey guys, we are going to have a hackathon tonight. Okay, this is not just us, but how other people, because we are in the tech space and we know how different companies do it. And then that is one way. You have to be aggressive and know who needs what and how to help them. And before you get the job done, of course you will sign non-disclosure agreement forms and all that. So there are rules binding onto what data you are collecting, what use you are putting that data into. So both the customer and yourself are into an agreement of what you should be doing to their data. I hope, should I go to the next question? That was addressed to me as well. And then the other one was by the gentleman right here, how we do it in countries without data. Well, I would say we are a few countries in this space that are operating in data analytics. And part of the challenges that we are facing is data that is the same, but it's not actually the same. I don't know how I can best say that. because when you look at the data, it could be qualitative data, like just text and text and text. So it's hard to analyze that kind of data. You have to first categorize it, group it, clean it, so that at least it is in a way that you can perform analytics. And for you to do all that, then it means you don't lazy around again, and there you go, you do everything all together. So we have a lot of data actually lying in this country, if I can say, because we are headquartered here. And other than that challenge, I said, the people who have the data don't really know the value of the data that they have. So it's quite a long journey, but it starts somewhere. So trust you me, we are doing something.
Thank you guys for coming, making it here from your day off.